Hi folks, Tom Goodwin here, the assistant curator at the Owl's Head Transportation Museum. Last time we learned that in history some things happen before other things, and some things that happen later can affect things that happened first. Oh boy. In this episode, we're going to be discussing how the Model T's simple design is what allowed it to be modified in a bunch of different ways. The thought was because they were so cheap and easy to come by that you could really make them do anything. Challenge accepted.
Long after production ends in 1927, Model Ts live on in many forms. So this is the Model T beach wagon. When you hear beach wagon, you should think the New England station wagon. Station wagons is what they're normally called because it was when the hotel would go pick you up from the train station. In New England, we thought more about where we wanted to go rather than where we were coming from. So when you're coming on vacation in Maine, you use a beach wagon to get to the beach. Thomas, your feet.
Some history people told me that you could do a lot of different things with a Model T, not just drive around really slowly. I want a hot dog.
Yeah, we can do that.
I want mustard.
The Model T was a very versatile automobile. It wasn't uncommon 100 plus years ago on a long road trip. If you had something to eat and you wanted to warm it up, you could warm it up on the engine. Someone developed a cooker that you could put right on the engine manifold made out of metal. The longer you drive, the more heat it built up, and there's a lot of different things you could make. You could put some food in, drive a distance, and lunch was ready. It's kind of a gimmick off the fact that the Model T is an extremely useful vehicle for more ways than just transportation. Not only did it allow the rural society to get to urban society, the Model T as a power unit and an automobile had many applications. That's one of the reasons why it was nicknamed the universal car.
The universal car. I like that.
Dude, seriously?
It's like a slaughterhouse for Model T-bones.
Tom, we can't exactly just order everything off the internet to take care of the Model Ts. We've got a big supply of engines and tires and spare parts so that the volunteers and our ground vehicle conservator can take care of our 8 to 10 Model Ts in the collection.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. What's that?
This is a Model T ice saw.
Present tense, Rob. It's a Model T I see.
No, Tom. It's a Model T ice saw. During the 1800s, Maine already had a strong ice harvesting industry. During the winter, when the lakes would freeze over, people would go out with rakes and hand saws and cut giant blocks of ice and ship them all over the world so that people could keep fruits and vegetables fresh in their ice boxes. In the 19-teens and 20s, some folks realized that if they hooked up their saws to their Model T engines, they could cut a lot more ice with a lot less work.
Cool. What else you got?
Go check it out.
So what have we got here?
This is a Model T fire truck. American LaFrance that made this started making fire apparatus back in the 1830s. So they adapted when motorized vehicles came out. In the early days, they'd make them out of Packards, Simplexes, and Fords. The Model T was inexpensive enough that this was often the first kind of fire truck that a department could afford. This is a Creeder's popcorn wagon, built right into a Model T chassis. Charles Creeder first made peanut roasters back in the 1880s. In the early 1900s, he's making custom popcorn wagons for people to take to amusement parks, fairs, and just to sell on the street side. When the Model T comes around, he starts building onto Model Ts for that extra bit of mobility. The company's still in business today. If you go to the movies, you're probably still eating from a Creeder's popcorn machine.
She looks a little pasty.
See how good you look sitting in a wagon for almost 100 years.
Touche. Hey! Who's that little friend?
That's the Toasty Roasty Man. When the machine is roasting, it looks like he's turning the crank. Boop.
If he asks you to play a game, don't.
So, what am I sitting in?
You are in a Model T snowmobile. During wintertime, there wasn't always snow plows to clear the roads, so if you didn't have a way to go over the snow, you were stuck for the whole winter. And that doesn't work for mail carriers, country doctors, people like that. So Virgil White, who lived in New Hampshire, started tinkering with a snowmobile kit back in 1907. He started with Buicks, but with the popularity of the Model T, he adapted it to sell with Model Ts. So something like this would cost you about $250 to $400, and you can adapt your car for winter driving. They were so successful that an explorer from Maine even used a Model T snowmobile to explore the subarctic regions of Canada in the 1920s.
That is really cool. But when there's no snow, wouldn't that make this a no-mobile? All right, I'll admit defeat on this one. The Model T had a place in the before internet times where it could do some pretty cool stuff. Even in the curious, developing mind of the child Harold Wills, it must have been difficult to imagine how diverse his playful toy would eventually become. Next time, we're gonna hook history up to a lie detector, get our facts in order, and then it's time to start driving.